So my name is Amelia George and I've lived here my whole life, but my parents moved in a few years before I was born, and they told me that an associate of John Logie Bard lived here. His name was Sidney Wright, and the first TV transmission actually happened here outside of London. So
that must be quite exciting for you to live in a house with such historic significance.
Yeah, it is, because, you know, out of everywhere it could have been across Yorkshire, it just happened to be my house, so it is really interesting.
And as you've been growing up, were you aware of this history, or was it just home?
It's just home. I think it'll always just be home, but it was my parents who made me aware of this a couple of years ago, so I've only known pretty recently, to be honest.
And the house has got one or two historical features still, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think my parents have changed the house a lot since they moved in, but I think it still has that historical aspect to it because it's an old house, so it still has that. Yeah, we've got the windows in this living room are actually are really nice, and the ones in the next door room as well, in the dining room, they're similar to these ones, so that's something that my parents have always kept the same.
And you haven't grown up here by yourself, have you? You've got...
No, I have two sisters. I have two sisters as well. I have an older sister and a younger sister.
Have you just run riot in this house? Because it's quite a large house.
Yeah, it is quite a large house, and I think as the years have gone by as well, like my parents have extended it and they've continued to do work on it, so it's just become even bigger now.
So a typical house, it never stands still. It's not here for historical importance.
I think my parents always want to keep that historical importance to the house, but also they always have so many ideas and things that they want to do on the house. So it's like a work in progress, but it'll never lose that historical importance.
Now, my parents were telling me about the balustrade and finding it being original, and there's one or two spindles missing.
Oh yeah, yeah, there is. But I think, so that's just an example of like something that they want to keep, to just to not fully get rid of that, you know, historical aspect of the house. That's just, you know, they want to cling on to a part of it at least. So.
And going back to the broadcast, do you know anything about the broadcast? What was actually broadcast?
So the broadcast that took place here was a still of the Prince of Wales, and this was in 1929. I think it's particularly significant because he actually wanted to marry, he had to step down as king because he wanted to marry a divorcee, and that, I mean, when you think of the royal family today and what's going on, that was extremely serious back then, especially because she wasn't a part of the royal family, and we see today with Meghan and Harry and their situation that obviously things back then were a lot stricter, so that was definitely not allowed at all.